Magnifico. Hopefully, I may have to dash out for just a minute or two. The stucco guys are here today. So hope it won't be a long pause, but in case I have to scoot out, you'll know
Mm-hmm.
that's why. Yeah, the windows are in.
Oh,
Yay!
good.
Hey,
I have windows with no gaps anymore. Everything is sealed tightly. Yay!
Good
whoa.
for you.
No air conditioning escaping. Yay! Oh boy. So we're on the downside of the exterior work guys this week. That was my first experience ever with fixing anything quite that big, replacing anything that big
Mm-hmm.
in the house. It was interesting, but loud. I'm glad we didn't have class. Okay, magnífico. Buenos días, y
Buenos días.
feliz lunes, happy Monday,
Gracias.
feliz lunes, y
Feliz lunes.
sí, feliz lunes. Y vamos a empezar. We're going to begin with a little bit of a shadowing practice for warm up.
Oh,
Just for warm up, we're going to use our little article about la gorra de béisbol,
mm-hmm.
baseball caps to start. And from there, we'll work up to our video and tying things in and telling you why we're doing the things we're doing in the order we're doing them, all that kind of fun stuff. Bueno, voy a compartir esta pantalla con usted, o mejor
Mm.
dicho, este artículo. Voy a compartir este artículo con ustedes. I'm going to share this article with you guys. And if you pull it up on your own screen, that's of course a-okay too. But if you cannot do that or just don't feel like it, we've got it up on our share screen here. Bastante grande, big enough? Or do I need to
Sí,
up the... ¿Sí? Bien?
está bien.
Okay. Vale.
Yeah,
Uh,
big enough.
and
I'm using a phone, so I don't know whether I should.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah,
Uh,
if you don't want to do so, if you can't see it well enough for do the shadowing, this, don't
okay.
raise a hand to volunteer for that then this time. Okay. So this is kind of a quick bullet item sort of article. Um, and a little bit of vocab stuff here and there, but not too bad. A lot of words you can maybe guess at, get close to if you did not know them. But we'll take a quick look at this and we're going to do in the shadowing. Of course, the purpose of shadowing is to work your pronunciation
Mm.
and for me to say a phrase in a group of words that logically hang together, and then for you to repeat it immediately after I say it. So it's a pronunciation practice, it's a rhythm practice. We'll group words together as they would normally be said quickly, ¿sí? Y el título del artículo aquí es Cómo limpiar gorras de béisbol. How to clean baseball caps. You're going to notice some things might look a little funny because they might be in subjunctive or they might be in a command. Hey, do this. Because if it's telling you how to clean a cap, how to clean something, it's going to be giving some commands. Okay, so often you'll know the base form of, I know they're using this verb, but I don't quite know how you're using it. They're probably putting it into a command or even maybe a subjunctive kind of form. Para que sepan, just so you know. Okay.
Okay.
¿Quién quiere practicar conmigo? Who wants to start some shadowing with me this morning? ¿Quién es la persona más valiente? Who's the bravest person this morning? Un voluntario.
Anybody else does, I'll do it.
Okay,
Okay.
bueno, Cindy. Okay. And I'll highlight as I go along. Una gorra de béisbol
Una gorra de béisbol
se encuentra entre tú y el mundo.
se encuentra de tú y el mundo.
Entre tú y el mundo. And notice how these will run together. You know, we think of these as tú y el mundo. But if
Mhm.
somebody says that at a natural rate, it'll sound like it's running together. Tú y el mundo, tú y el
Mm.
mundo.
Yo y el
So
mundo.
think about what we do with our mouth. Tú y el mundo. Tú y el mundo. Ok, un poquito más, Cindy. ¿Te protege del polvo
Te protege del polvo
y la lluvia?
y la lluvia.
Y a lo largo de un largo día,
Y a lo largo de un largo día,
una gorra de béisbol
una gorra de béisbol
también absorbe
también absorbe
el sudor
el sudor
y el protector solar.
y el protector solar.
Usted usa protector solar, ¿verdad?
Usted usa protector solar, ¿verdad?
Bien, okay. So, a baseball cap sets itself in between you and the world. It protects you from dust and rain. And a lo largo de un largo día, a lo largo is a nice chunk to know. A lo largo. Uh, a lo largo by itself, if you looked it up, would just say long. Yeah, largo. It's not large, it's long. A lo largo means in the course of
Mm.
long, as the day, yeah. Uh, through a long day. Think of it as in the course of a long day. See, a baseball cap also absorbs the sweat. El sudor. Sudor es la cosa, the thing. Sweat, it's a noun. But no, there is also a verb which means the same thing, but it makes it an action. So, sudor, sweat, the actual beads on your face or wherever. Donde sea, wherever it may be, donde sea. Y sudar, A-R, A-R, A-R at the end, A-R is the verb, sudar, see? And it absorbs the sweat and sunscreen. Yeah. You may hear the phrase for sunscreen as protector solar, crema protectiva. You may hear different terms used for it depending on the region the person is from. And then they kind of sent this as a little wink idea at the end. You do use sunscreen, don't you? Right? And remember that this is a tag question, ¿verdad? This is a tag question, means it always comes at the end. And we can turn a plain old sentence not structured as a question, a plain old sentence into a question with these little tag words. And the little tag words that turn a plain old sentence into a question are verdad, with question marks, or no, no, with two question marks, does the same job as verdad. Okay, bien, bien. Okay, so remember we're working on our vowels. Rebecca, you want to take a turn here? ¿Quieres? Bien,
Yeah, sure.
magnífico. Excelente. Aunque una gorra rota y maltratada.
Uh, how do you pronounce the first word again?
Aunque, aunque.
Aunque una gorra rota y maltratada.
That's a hard word. Maltratada.
Maltratada.
Bien, muy bien, maltratada. Now, that one I grouped all together. It was long, but I grouped it together because all these words are talking about la gorra. All these words are talking about the cap. So they would naturally hang together. Aunque una gorra rota y maltratada. Okay, continuemos. Let's continue. Puede ser un signo de personalidad.
Puede ser un signo de personalidad.
Bien, okay. And again, that's one of those hard, long words. Personalidad.
Personalidad.
Bien, personalidad, ¿sí? Ah, conviene limpiarla.
Con bien, con bien, limpiada,
Lim-
limpiarla.
limpiarla. Bien. And you'll notice these can be kind of tricky to pronounce because we got a lot of vowels that clump together, yeah? And when those vowels clump together, they call that technically a diphthong. Well, okay, you don't care about that, but it means that we run those vowel sounds together. They will slide together. So conviene, conviene.
Con
And here's another one that's got a lot of vowel sounds. Limpiarla.
limpiarla.
Bien, bien, limpiarla. Okay. And
Limpiarla.
we tag the little word la onto the end of limpiar. The little word la is referring back to this word that we used previously, una gorra, una gorra. Okay. So instead of having to repeat the word gorra, gorra, gorra over and over again, we want to, once we've named gorra, we want to refer back to that thing as la, it. Yeah. So the la tagged on to limpiarla refers back to that word gorra in a shorter way. So we don't have to repeat the word gorra. Bien? Okay.
Mhm.
And I'm going to point one thing out because if you are one of those people who looks up words in the dictionary, and you look at rota, which is just the feminine form of roto, R-O-T-O, roto. Roto, the first definition you'll see is broken. And you would say, well, a cap isn't broken. But know that that word roto or rota can be also used to say that something is ripped up, torn. Ah, so if you have a ripped shirt, you got a tear in your shirt, you got a tear in your pants, right? They'll often refer to that as roto or rota, right? And it looks back at that word gorra to get its form of feminine form. Although a ripped and, wait, maltratada, mal, means
Bad.
bad. Yeah. Tratada would mean treated. Badly treated, hat cap? What the heck are they doing there? Anybody want to take a guess? What might we use instead? So we know it's a torn or ripped up hat. What English term might we use to convey this idea of badly treated, which really isn't how you should translate it?
I'm thinking vintage, but that's, I don't know.
Yeah, they kind of borrow
Well,
that word vintage at the end, don't they? Yeah,
well worn. Well worn.
maltrata would be like, yeah, like worn out or beat up. Would you say a beat up hat? If somebody says a beat up hat, you can picture what it looks like, right? So
Mhm.
that's what they're saying. A ripped up and beat up hat can be a sign of your personality. See? Why even clean it? This is a part of me. But well, yeah. Uh, Conviene limpiarla means, but it's in your best interest. It's good interest. It's good for you to clean it. It's a good idea. Conviene is kind of like saying it's a good idea, or it's a good idea for you to do what? To do the verb that's
It's
connected to it.
advisable.
Clean it. Yeah. Clean it. And we want to say it instead of saying cap, 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 cap over and over again. See? Okay. Yeah. Who else would like to take a little turn here? Who wants to take a quick turn?
I'll take a quick turn.
Bien, bueno, Karen, sí.
Okay.
La buena noticia
La buena noticia
es que puedes limpiar
es que puedes limpiar
una gorra de béisbol
una gorra de béisbol
con cosas que probablemente
con cosa que probable, probable, probablemente,
sí, ya
probablemente
tengas en casa.
ya tengas en casa.
Ya tengas en casa. And that word is a tough word.
Yeah.
Anything that has a mente can be challenging because we're making that word really long, right? Probable would not give you so much pause, but probablemente does. And the mente is just like our ly suffix. Probablemente, probably. See?
Sí.
The good news is that you can clean a baseball cap with things, you might say stuff, with things that you probably already have on hand at home. Ya is like saying already, ya tengas, which you may already have. And notice it didn't say ya tienes, that you have for sure. We're saying, we assume you might. Oh, and you know what? This form of tengas is kind of tied to this probablemente idea. We're not assuming you have all this stuff at home. We're saying you might. And because it's a you might have, instead of using tienes, we're assuming that it's a maybe you do and a maybe you don't situation. And the maybe you do, maybe you don't is conveyed with a different verb. And instead of saying tienes, they'll say tengas, that you might have. We don't know if you have it or you don't. That's all that means. The tengas verb just indicates questionable. We don't know if it's really possible or not, if you really have it or not. Okay, a ver. But you know that tengas comes from tienes, yeah, from tener, yeah. You can see. So when you see a verb form like that you say, well, that looks like tener, uh, the way we would read it in English that you already have, that you probably already have at home. Yeah, just go with that have idea. English doesn't have a good thing comparable to subjunctive. Just know that in Spanish, when you see that tengas instead of tienes, it's indicating an iffy, we don't know if it's true situation. That's all it means. Okay. Lo que necesitas, what you need. Literally that which you need, but nobody's going to phrase it like that in English. What you need. Okay. And here we get some bullets, bullets, bullets. ¿Alguien quiere practicar? Anybody want to practice a little bit here? Un
I
poquito.
can.
Marcos, magnífico. Un
Go.
cepillo de dientes
I can.
viejo y suave
Un
Christian?
cepillo de dientes viejo y suave
o un cepillo de uñas.
o un cepillo de uñas.
Esto será útil
Esto será útil
para quitar
para quitar
cualquier mancha difícil.
cualquier mancha difícil.
Bien, sí. Uh, uh, an old toothbrush, obviously not one you use right now. An old soft toothbrush, an old soft, suave, soft toothbrush, or a nail brush. This will be useful. This will be useful. And the key para here means in order to, not for, because you wouldn't say in order for to take away. Yeah. We would just say in order to get rid of or to take out whatever kind of difficult stain you've got, right? The cualquier is talking about mancha. Cualquier mancha means any stain at all. The cualquier word, which you may see as cualquiera, but usually it gets shortened to cualquier. Cualquier just means any at all. Okay. Any stain at all. Bien. Okay. Vale. Bueno. Gracias. Anybody want to take a turn with a couple other things here? A little bit. Un poquito
I
más.
can.
No. Okay. Vale. Bueno, Danita. Detergente para ropa
Detergente para ropa
o jabón para platos.
o jabón para platos.
Para este proyecto
Para este proyecto
nos gusta
nos gusta
el detergente líquido
el detergente líquido.
para ropa.
Líquido.
Para ropa. Sí, tide free y gentle. And then it wouldn't really translate that. O el jabón para platos.
O el jabón para platos.
Y seventh generation
generation.
es la marca, ¿sí? Pero cualquier jabón
Pero cualquier jabón
para platos
para platos
que tenga a mano
que tenga a mano
probablemente estará bien.
probablemente estará bien.
Bien, excelente. Uh, clothing detergent, yeah, clothes washing detergent, or uh, jabón soap, dish soap, yeah, dish soap for this project. We like, and they name the two brands, yeah, liquid clothing detergent, Tide, or dish soap, and they name the brand. And then they say, pero, but. Again, we've got our cualquier, our any at all. Cualquier jabón, any soap at all. Yeah. Any old soap. Think of it as cualquier is any old. Any old soap for dishes that you might have on hand will probably be okay. Bien? Okay. Magnifico. Magnifico. And here we've got a nice portmanteau. We've got a nice thing of two words that are connected together to make it a brand new word. And it's a long, long, long word. Quita manchas. And quitar means to take away. So if you know that quitar means to take away and manchas means stains, the word quita manchas is a thing. And it
Stain
means
remover. A stain remover.
yeah, it means stain remover. Okay. And they just take a verb, stick it together with the noun it's talking about, it becomes a new word. And notice it stays as a plural. A lot of these kinds of words that get plugged in together to make one longer word work that way. Un quitamanchas. Un quitamanchas is a stain remover. Un quitamanchas de uso intensivo. Heavy duty, you might say. Uso intensivo, intensive use, but we would probably plug in the idea heavy duty, yeah? That's usually what we use. Un quitamanchas de uso intensivo. Para manchas difíciles necesitarás un quitamanchas más potente. You will need a stronger, a more potent stain remover que contenga blanqueadora oxigenado. It's got an oxygenated whitener. ¿Sí? Blanqueadora o blanqueador es whitener. ¿Sí? Nuestro favorito es el detergente para ropa en polvo Tide. Okay, vale, ¿sí? And so they talked about los ingredientes, el equipo, the stuff you use. Now we're going to talk about something else, what you put it all in. They're going to start to talk about what you put all this stuff in. Anybody want to take a turn with this? Alguien.
I'll do it.
Okay, magnífico. Un balde
Un balde
o palagana.
o pala,
Palagana.
Palagana.
Palagana, sí. ¿Está bien lavar el sombrero
Está bien lavar el sombrero
en el fregadero?
en el fregadero,
Pero asegúrate
pero asegúrate
de limpiarlo primero.
de limpiar, no,
Limpiarlo
limpiarlo. One more
primero.
time,
Sí.
what you say?
Yeah.
Okay,
Limpiarlo
I got it.
primero.
Primero. Okay.
Okay. Okay. And this lo here, before you had a la tagged on to a limpiar because the la was talking about la gorra, cap. But now the lo word, the masculine word, also meaning it, is referring back to this thing, so we don't have to repeat it. Fregadero. Fregadero es sink, a sink. But
Oh,
generally, yeah, a kitchen sink. And it will be a kitchen sink, usually, okay? A place where you do the fregar. Fregar is scrubbing, yeah? And wherever you scrub your dishes or pots or pans, that will be el fregadero, okay? So they're
mhm.
talking about a bucket or a basin. It's okay to wash the cap in a sink. Yeah, if you
Mm,
don't have a bucket or a pail, yeah.
mm,
But asegúrate means make sure, but make sure to clean it, meaning the sink, yeah, first. So
yeah,
have a clean sink. ¿Sí?
right.
También puedes usar, Lisa, un poquito más. También puedes usar
También puedes usar
un balde
un balde
o un recipiente
o un recipiente
para guardarlo.
para guardarlo.
Sí, bien. You can also use a bucket or a receptacle, yeah,
Okay.
to keep it. See? And we're going to finish just one more thing and then we'll leave this to move on, okay? ¿Quién? Anybody want to take another quick turn? Un poquito más. Una frase más, ¿sí? Bien. ¿Alguien? Bueno, sí, Cindy. Bueno, algo redondo. Oh, and you're on mute still.
Lo siento.
No, está bien.
Algo redondo
Para secar la gorra.
para secar la gorra,
O melón,
un melón,
una lata de café
una latte de café
o una toalla enrollada.
o, o una toalla, no, toalla
Toalla.
yeah, enrolada.
Sí, enrollada. That is a tongueful right there. Wow, mouthful. Toalla
Toalla
enrollada.
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 Enro-
Enrollada is rolled up, bunched up, rolled up. That's all it means. That roll in the middle is roll. Enrollada, rolled up. See? Okay. Funcionará
Funcionaron
bien
bien
para mantener
para mantener
la curvatura
la curvatura
de tu sombrero
de tu sombrero
mientras se seca.
mientras se seca.
Bien. Okay. And here it says something round to dry the cap. Yeah. Melon, well, I wouldn't really pick like a cantaloupe as my first choice, but hey, whatever works. Yeah. A coffee can, A rolled up towel, a bunched up, rolled up towel. That's what that is. And that word toalla is a tough one for us to, yeah.
Toalla.
Toalla looks like towel, it sounds like towel, but that o-a is a tough transition for
Toalla.
going from the sound
To-
o right into a. Toalla.
Toalla.
Toalla. See? A
Toalla.
rolled up towel. Will work well. Funcionará, funcionará, funcionar looks like function, and that is what it means, but generally we say work. So anytime we talk about an object, not a human being, but an object or a device or a gadget, yeah, that works. We don't use trabajar. Remember, we use funcionar for objects that work to do a certain job. So all these things they mentioned will work well to maintain, but we would say probably keep. Yeah. To keep the curve of your hat while it dries out. See? Mientras se seca. Bien? Okay. And we'll leave it at that. See? Only other word I think I'm going to point out, and we're not going to read all of this right away today, but we may keep this to do a little drill next week for speaking this word, enjuaga. Enjuaga. Enjuaga means to rinse, meaning you soak it in water. Yeah, rinse off, splash water on it. Enjuaga. Enjuaga.
Enjuaga.
Okay? Enjuaga. It's always used with liquid. Claro. Ok. Bien. So, entonces, adelante con la práctica. Moving on with practice. We're going to take a look at a different type of verb, but it is connected to the modal type verbs that you saw before. But this verb kind of leads into a different classification of verbs that is really good to know because they kind of do something that you don't necessarily expect. In one way, it's actually easier to use than the other verbs you're accustomed to. In another way, it's a little bit tough because we have to, that means you can't skip it. You have to use a little pronoun with this verb and these kinds of verbs because it's a whole category of verbs. And that is this very simple thing that you learn as me gusta. Yeah, I like it, right? And I had given you this video to listen to me gusta and how me gusta or te gusta or le gusta is used. And I had plugged this in to your modal verb practice because this means we use me gusta quite often with a second verb, right? Como por ejemplo, me gusta bailar. I like to dance, the second verb. Me gusta escuchar la música de Earth, Wind and Fire.
Popular.
Me gusta ver películas de ciencia ficción. Okay, I like to watch science fiction movies. We often pair me gusta with a verb, right? And therefore, it kind of ties into our modal verb group. Okay. First of all, did you have any question about anything she talked about in there? And we're going to expand on it and talk about it a little more before we do our practice.
Marilyn, I have one sort of, well, I guess a question. So in some of her examples, she would start off with like, a mí me gusta, whatever. And I understand using that, like the somebody to be able to clarify who you're talking about when it's not clear. But with me gusta, it's pretty clear that it's a mí. So why would you ever use a mí in front of me gusta?
Es buena pregunta. That's a very good question. And I put up the little phrase he is talking about here. Can you see? Did it move it along? See? So you can see the whole phrase? Okay. A mí no me gusta. Okay. Es buena pregunta. The core part that you must have to be understood so that people don't give you a funny look is the me gusta part, okay? Me gusta cocinar. I like to cook. Me gusta cocinar is the core of that. It's the absolute essential part you have to say so that somebody clearly understands you without having to think really hard about it because it'll be clear as a bell. Me gusta cocinar is all you technically need. But you may, or here in the negative sense, no me gusta cocinar. A mí no me gusta cocinar. The a mí is often added in, but it doesn't have to be. So the a mí part doesn't have to be added in. It's essentially an intensifier for the me gusta. It's an intensifier. And uh, that's all it is. It's icing on the cake. It's something extra you don't have to have, but it gives it more impact, more oomph. Um, in English, we might add on things like this. I really don't like to cook. Yeah. And that idea of really don't. It's the a mí no me gusta. A mí no me gusta. That really intensifier. Or in English, you might, with the tone of your voice going up and down, say, I don't like to cook. Yeah? I don't. We punch with the tone of our voice, and that punch with the tone of your voice is exactly what the a mí phrase does. It's kind of an intensifier. Yeah. An intensifier for te gusta would be a ti, a ti. That word ti, ti, a ti no te gusta, a ti no te gusta. For we don't like, it would be a nosotros no nos gusta. Yeah. It becomes more of a mouthful, yeah, with the a nosotros, a couple long words. Okay. So for a mí, a ti, a nosotros, they are intensifiers. For le gusta or les gusta, the a phrase would be, like you mentioned, Marcos, to clarify, right? Rather than emphasize, perhaps. Because the little pronoun le could mean he likes, she likes, or you, usted, like. So to clarify, make sure that it's super crystal clear who you mean by that little pronoun le, that can mean many things. We'll have a and a person's name to define something more clearly, right? And the same for the little pronoun les, because les can refer to them or you guys. So to make it clearer who I mean by that word les, since there's more than one definition, we tag an a phrase on. See? So sometimes it's clarifying, but you're right. Me gusta is already clear. We already understand that. So the a mí is not a clarifier, but an emphatic, an intensifier. Bien? Vale. Okay. Otra pregunta. Any other question about this or no? So you may hear those kind of phrases tagged on, and they'll always be tagged on at the beginning there. Yeah, the word order is kind of a thing here, right? When you have an a with a person's name, a mí, a ti, a Luisa y a Jose, yeah, anything like that, it'll be tagged on at the beginning as opposed to tagging something on at the end. So word order in that particular case is a thing, is important. Okay. Adelante. So we're going to take a little closer look at this because this behaves differently than some of the two verb structure things together because you may hear it as two verbs together. You may also hear it as gustar with an object as opposed to gustar with a verb. So gustar might be talking about liking activities, or it might be talking about liking items or things, right? So gustar is a little bit different. All right, and these are, uy, tengo que engrandecer esto. I need to make this bigger. Ah, mejor, mucho mejor. Better, better, better. Okay, so we had all of these in some previous classes, and these are things where we have two verbs working together. The second verb always stays as an infinitive, AR, ER, IR ending. We don't conjugate it. We only conjugate the first verbs. So here are the verbs that we had used more intensely the last few weeks. Ir a, poder, querer, soler, tener que, deber, and they convey specific meanings. Going to, future event, ability to do something, wanting to do something, usually to talk about habits, saying that something happens a lot, yeah? Obligations, we use tener, right? And deber is kind of the should, but remember it's strong. It's got a strong obligation meaning tied to it. Okay. Gustar is set up differently from other verbs. So the important thing to know is that really to say that you like swimming or you like skating or you uh, like to you like to eat burgers, whatever you like to do, right? The word like doesn't as a verb, the verb to like, yeah, um, doesn't really exist in Spanish. Okay. So again, this is a translation thing. You can't translate word for word. Uh, uh, Gustar really means to be pleasing. All right. But to phrase it as to be pleasing, what it really means sounds very stilted and weird in English because you'll get very funny, quizzical looks. Uh, uh, Fixing cars is very pleasing to me. Yeah. uh, Making ice cream sundaes is pleasing to me. People look at you like, okay, fine. You're a little pat you on the head, go on your way, you strange little person, right? But this is the only way they've got to express that idea that we have the word like for in English, okay? So please notice one thing, the way it is set up differently because it means to be pleasing. In general, that word usually is key. Usually, we don't use the yo form of gustar, the tu form for gustar, or the nosotros conjugation for gustar. We usually don't. It is possible, but it is far less likely. And when I say far less likely, it's like 95% less likely. Yeah, it does exist. It can happen, but it's far less likely. Okay. Uh, Also important to know, don't use gustar to say you like a person. I like Tom. I like Anna. If you think they're just good buddies, don't ever use it for that because gustar strongly, because it means to be pleasing, not like. Gustar, when it refers to people, means hubba hubba, belly up to the bar. Can I buy you a drink, lady? Can I? It is a come on kind of verb. It is a flirting kind of verb. Literally, it is like, I have a physical attraction to you. That is what it means when you refer to a human being. So unless you really want to go out on a date with somebody, don't use gustar for people. Don't do it because that is the connotation, and you will be sending that message of, hey, baby, to somebody if you use gustar with a person. And if you want to say, hey, baby, go for it. But, we don't want to leave people with the wrong impression. That's the thing, right? It's the classic story. A person said, "Oh, I really like your husband. He's a sweet guy." And what she heard come out of that person's mouth was, "I'm so physically attracted to your husband." And she's like, "What?" So don't use gustar. Yeah, because people will get the wrong idea. That's what it means in their brain. Okay.
What do you use?
Yeah. So, yeah, so context is a thing and is really important to know that gustar really means something gives you pleasure. Well, okay. So we're going to look at gustar and other verbs that use it that have the same kind of structure because they kind of sometimes fall into this modal verb category. Okay, bien? So we explain all of this. I mean, technically, all those conjugations for gustar, gusto, gustas, gustamos, they exist, but again, only in the flirting conversation. So here's how you're going to hear them used. And with when we combine gustar with an activity like doing something, like to cook, and in English, by the way, we also say I like cooking. I like cooking and I like to cook. It means the same thing in English, right? It conveys the same idea. You can just express it two different ways. I like to cook. I like cooking. I like to play guitar. I like playing guitar. We can express it either way, but you can't use that ing idea in Spanish here in this structure, right? It's got to stay as the to play guitar or to cook. I like to cook. Okay. If you are using gustar with activities, actions, verbs, it'll always be gusta, 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 gusta. Always gusta. Because an activity is considered a singular thing. Yeah. And the pronoun in front of it tells who likes it, right? Something is pleasing to somebody. So it's me gusta, te gusta, le gusta. Never, never me gusto. I am pleasing to myself sounds just gross and weird. So never me gusto. Always me gusta. Yeah, me gusta. So if I talk about an action, it'll always be gusta. If I talk about a single thing, like an item instead of an action, a noun, then it will be gusta, right? And the hard thing for us to get used to is this idea of like in English, in inglés. The second form of gustar that you may hear is gustan. And this means those things are pleasing to somebody. Okay. So if the thing that is liked is a group of things, if it's anything plural, more than one, then we need gustan as the verb. See? So me gustan, te gustan, le gustan, nos gustan, les gustan, etc. Okay. Bien. Ok. Entonces, sí, actividades. Always it'll be me gusta. Me gusta montar en bicicleta. Te gusta leer y escribir. You like to read and write, right? And making two activities doesn't make this verb into gustan. Stays gusta, singular, because it's still action. Yeah, all right. That's just what they do. Le gusta hablar con él. He or she likes to speak with him. Le gusta viajar. Les gusta viajar. They like to travel. Nos gusta ver películas. We like watching movies. And here, really, we're not talking about the películas as the focus. Ver, watching is the focus. Nos gusta ver películas. So gusta has to be singular when it's combined with an action. Ver. Even though you may say, well, wait, películas is more than one. Shouldn't it be nos gustan ver películas? No. Bien. If I were to do this, if I took out the ver and I did this, nos gustan las películas, that is okay because it's paired up with a plural noun. Nos gustan las películas. Nos gustan las películas. We like movies. Yeah. If it's just las películas, that is okay. But if it is an activity paired up with an infinitive, it has to be gusta, the singular. Nos gusta ver películas. Bien? Entonces, going back to this idea of, is the thing that is liked an action? It counts as one, gusta. Is the object or thing that is liked one single thing? Then again, gusta, singular is right. But the verb is going to flip to gustan, plural, if the thing that is liked is plural, more than one. Like, I like dogs, meaning I like all dogs, no matter what their breed is, right? I like all dogs. Me gustan los perros. Me gustan los perros. Okay? Bien? So that's the odd thing about gustar, right? And here are examples of us using it not with a verb, but with things instead of actions. So, right? We take a look at if the action is one, is me gusta la música, te gusta la comida picante, le gusta la ropa nueva, le gusta el café, les gusta el otoño, nos gusta México. Okay, bien. One single thing liked. And notice we always use the el here, or the la, or the los, or the las, whatever it might be. If the thing that you like is an object, a thing, we do use the word the. English does not do that, right? English says you like spicy food, not you like the spicy food. But in Spanish, you do need the word. You need that. You, if you mess up and forget the word la and just say te gusta comida picante, they'll understand you, but it sounds a little off. It sounds a little weird. You'll be understood, but just know they expect to hear this el, la, los, or las word with that. Bien? And similarly, they'll expect to hear the word if you've got a plural. So, me gustan las naranjas. I like oranges. ¿Sí? Bien. Oh, perdón. Me gustan las flores. I like, or you, te gustan las flores. You like flowers. ¿Sí? Bien. O, por ejemplo, aquí, le gustan los animales. Les gustan los postres. ¿Sí? We would just say desserts. Nos gustan las fiestas. Las fiestas. We like parties. Same thing. But these are all gustan, gustan, gustan because we have a plural, more than one kind of noun. Bien? Okay. So here's a good thing to know. There are a lot of words that use the same structural form as gustar does. So you've probably, some of you have seen these before, but it's a good thing to review. And that means that you're likely to hear the verb in one of two forms, a singular form and a plural form. Okay? Bien? So, interesar, to say that somebody is interested in something. Well, that interesar verb will usually operate like gustar. Yeah. Encantar, which is, perdón, I should review here, that means that the verb form will be interesa or interesan, plural. Okay. Bien. Encantar is like you're bumping up gustar. Yeah, instead of saying you like something, you're turning it more into somebody loves this. Ooh, they love it. Not as in romantic love, but yeah, that idea of something is enchanting to somebody. Literally, that is what it means. So we wind up using encanta or encantan. Bien, ¿sí? Importar, which means that something is important, to be important. Yeah. And actually, the idea that we generally use in English for this importar verb is to mean that something matters. Yeah. If it is important, it matters. So, importar, you hear quite a lot, and there'll be two forms. You'll hear importa or importan. Bien. Molestar has nothing to do with the sexual molestation. No, no, no. Means that something is annoying or bothersome. Yeah. So there's nothing bad about that word. It's got a bad connotation in English, but not in Spanish. So you'll hear this used as molesta or molestan. See? Bien. If somebody pulls out a cigarette, and they think that you're sitting on a subway or a bus or in a building somewhere, they pull out a cigarette and they think considerately, "Oh, maybe the person next to me might be annoyed by my smoking." They may just turn, look at you with the cigarette between their fingers and say, te molesta. Does it bother you? Te molesta? Okay. Te molesta si fumo. Does it bother you if I smoke? A conversational thing you might hear. See? Te molesta. Would it bother you? See? Bien. And often they'll leave it dangling there. Te molesta. You can see the thing I'm about to do with a cigarette between my fingers. So, you know, the implication is, will it bother you if I smoke? Okay. Bien. And then a couple other ones you may hear that again are like gustar. Caer bien. Here's the thing that you want to use instead of gustar for people. You like somebody just like you're not attracted to them. You just think they're a nice person. You like them. And literally in Spanish, they say somebody falls well on you. I know that sounds weird, but I guess you could associate it with the idea of this doesn't set well with me. That kind of expression in English, it's kind of like that. But caer bien, to fall well, means that you like somebody, right? Luis me cae bien. I like Louis. Luis me cae bien. Uh, uh, los amigos de mis hijos, my kids' friends, los amigos de mis hijos me caen bien, me caen bien. I like my kids' friends. ¿Sí? Me cae bien mi nueva colega. I like my new work colleague really well. Me cae mal mi jefe. I If somebody falls badly, it's the opposite of me cae bien. Me cae mal. I don't like my boss. Me cae mal. You might hear it as no me cae bien, but you may also hear it as me cae mal. They fall badly on it, okay? Bien. And parecer is often used a lot like gustar. Uh, Sometimes, kind of depends. Parecer means many things. Parecer means to seem, yeah. Uh, and you often hear parecer used to express the idea of I think, uh, or something seems to me. Me parece. Me parece. It seems to me. Okay. Bien. So let's see if you can fill in some ideas here. We're going to use some of these with infinitives or maybe with things. Depends on what it is that you like. Something you like to do. ¿Sí? Aquí, por ejemplo, me gusta mucho. Me gusta mucho. I like a lot. If you want to say a lot, you just tag on the mucho after gustar. Me gusta mucho montar en bicicleta en Conservancy, ¿sí? En la zona de Conservancy. Bien. Ustedes, you guys. Something you like to do. Any old thing.
I'll try.
Bien.
Me gusta escuchar música de los Eagles.
Bien. Perfecto. Perfecto. Bien. Otra idea. Another idea.
Mm,
Any preference you can talk about. Cindy, sí.
Me gusta los conciertos de ah, la MIM. ¿Cómo es?
Ah, ah,
MIM,
los conciertos de...
the MIM Musical Instrument Museum.
Ok.
Oh, ma'am.
Ah, sí, 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 entiendo. Sí, sí. Me gustan
Ujú.
los conciertos. If you like listening, me gusta escuchar. But if you're not going to put the escuchar idea in, it's then me gustan los conciertos. Me gustan los conciertos de MIM. Sí, gracias. El Museo de Instrumentos Musicales, ¿verdad? Que está en Scottsdale. Sí. Y ofrecen varios conciertos en MIM. Bien. Rebeca, ¿tienes una idea?
Me gusta pasear con mi hija.
Bien, bien.
Use pasear or caminar.
Pasear es más como stroll, ¿sí? Algo muy lento, muy relajante, ¿sí? Caminar puede ser esto, sí, o relajado, ¿sí? Pero pasear es stroll, leisurely kind of pace. And it's correct to use caminar, it's correct to use pasear. Pasear just makes it maybe a little more enjoyable, pleasurable kind of action. ¿Sí? Bien. Bueno, algo más. Something you like to do. A like. Anything else?
Bicicleta.
Sí.
Okay. Um, I don't know. I was trying to think of how to say ride a bike.
Ok. Montar en bicicleta.
Montar en bicicleta.
Montar en bicicleta. You may hear it as andar en bicicleta. Either way, montar en bicicleta. Me gusta andar en bicicleta. Bien. Bien. Bueno, okay. Let's switch it up a little bit. Same kind of structure. You still need a me idea to tell who is, in this case, interested in. We're going to use interesar, a form of interesar here, something you're interested in doing. And that might be you have never done it yet, but you would like to. You're interested in. See? Sí, por ejemplo, un ejemplo mío, me interesa saber los nombres de las plantas en el desierto. Me interesa saber los nombres de las plantas. Las clasificaciones de las plantas en el desierto. ¿Ok? Bien,
Bien.
bien. Otra idea, something that you're interested in doing. Algo.
Ah,
Paratrooping.
¿Sí?
Yeah.
Sí, Lisa.
Yeah. Paratrooping, but I don't know how to say that either.
Uh, par,
Oh,
paratro-
paratrooping. That was weird. Uh, you know, being a paratrooper.
oh, como soldado, like a soldier?
Yeah, coming out of the sky and
Ah,
jumping.
ok. Wow. Ok. Una idea complicada. Me interesa ser. I'm interested in being. Or I'm interested in knowing about. Maybe you don't want to really jump out of planes, but you just like reading about guys who do that. Yeah.
Yes.
Uh, or me
My
interesa saber. Sí. El paracaídas militar. Paracaídas is parachuting. Paracaídas militar.
wow.
¿Sí? Sí, bien. Ok, por ejemplo, what if, and remember, you're going to need either interesa or interesan if it's plural. What if the thing you're interested in, here, this brings it up. One of my kids would fall into this category. Uh, war stories. War stories, stories of guys from World War One, stories of guys from First World War, stories of guys in medieval warfare. He likes that kind of stuff. Okay, ¿cómo se dice? He likes war stories. He likes. ¿Cómo se expresa? He likes it.
¿Le
El
gusta?
Le gusta.
Perdón, it's
Le
interested
gusta.
in. Perdón.
El gusta.
Le gusta.
El,
And here it can't be me. It's got to be he's interested in.
el,
Is it el?
Le gusta.
el.
It'll
Le
be
interesa.
Le.
It'll be le if he likes it. Le, and which
Le.
to talk about historias de la guerra, historias de la guerra. Which one of these
Interesan.
two?
Interesan.
Interesan.
Interesan, sí, Danita, perfecto. Entonces,
Interesan.
le interesan, le
La
Las
interesan.
historia de
historias.
la guerra.
Bien.
Sí.
Okay, and now le
Las
interesan. Le
Las.
could be talking about anybody. Okay, bien. So to make it more specific, I might name the person. I would probably be better served to say, José le,
Le.
not le interesan las historias de la guerra. A José le interesan
José.
las historias de la guerra. ¿Sí?
Yes.
Bien.
Mhm.
Okay. So, interesar works just like gustar. Bien. Anybody else
Sí.
want to talk about something you're interested in or something that somebody else in your family is interested in?
I'll try one.
Bien.
Me interesar en tocar el violín.
Tocar el violín.
Violín.
Perfecto. Wow. ¿Te interesa tocar el violín? Es difícil tocar el violín, ¿verdad?
Mm,
Es
sí,
difícil. Muy.
sí,
Requiere mucha práctica tocar el violín.
sí.
Bien. Sí. Bueno, le interesa tocar el violín. Perfecto. Otro ejemplo, another example with interesar.
I'll go.
Bien.
Me interesa hablar español.
Perfecto. Me interesa hablar español. Perfecto, perfecto.
Sí,
Bien. Sí.
sí.
Por ejemplo, me interesa. Oh. A la familia, a mi familia, ¿sí? Nos nos interesa caminar en el desierto. Nos interesa caminar en el desierto. Nos interesa hacer una caminata, doing a hike, hacer una caminata en el desierto. Otro ejemplo con interesa. Something you're interested in. or that somebody else is. Ah, 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 a mi esposo le interesa arreglar cosas electrónicas. Arreglar, fixing. Arreglar, ¿sí? Le interesa arreglar las cosas electrónicas, como las computadoras, computadoras como mm,
Mobile phone.
sí, eso no tanto. That one, not so much. Pero sí, las computadoras, sí. Bien. Bueno, ¿otro más o no? Okay. Which verb do we want to use for something matters? It is important.
Importa o importan.
Sí, importar. So we need either an importa, it matters, or an importan. Bien. And just connect that importa with importante. Can you say es importante? Yes, you can say es importante, but somebody else may very well talk to you not using es importante, but using rather me importa. It matters to me. See? It's important to me. So that idea of matters is conveyed with this importa. Okay? Something that matters to you, and it may be an action, which would need importa. It could be a group of things like importan. Okay, por ejemplo, me importa investigar temas del voto. Voting. Investigating voting matters. See? Voting topics, temas. Me importa investigar, leer mucho, investigar los temas del voto. Ok, un ejemplo. Otro ejemplo. Another example? Sí, Cindy.
También,
Marcos first and then Cindy. Sí, Marcos.
también a mí me importa quién gane las elecciones.
Me importa quién gana las elecciones. Muy bien, sí, me importa quién gana. And importa with quién, well, a who is just a one person, so importa is enough. Bien, perfecto. Sí, Cindy.
Me importan ayudar los inmigrantes.
Me importa ayudar a los inmigrantes. Bien, bueno, una acción me importa ayudar. With ayudar an action, just that importa. Bien, otro ejemplo.
Me importa ser voluntariada cada semana.
Voluntario. Voluntario.
Voluntario, ok, cada
Me
semana.
importa ser voluntario. Me importa ser voluntario. Or you might rework it a little bit. That one is fine. But you might also hear it expressed as me importa trabajar de voluntario. You might hear it used
Trabajar.
that way. See? Because even though it's not paid work, trabajar,
It's hard work.
todavía es trabajar. It's still working, right? Sí, trabajar sin salario. Bien, me importa trabajar de voluntario, me importa ser, being voluntario. Perfecto, perfecto. Bueno, ¿qué más? A mí me importa reemplazar las ventanas, replacing the windows. Sí, esta semana, sí, la larga historia, the side note for anybody watching later, the ongoing saga of getting all of our windows fixed. Bien, vale. Ok, Otra idea con importar.
I'll try one. I might need help with this word. Um, it's more directed to you to change it up. ¿Qué importa Ensenada? Ensenada? Gigi?
Ah, enseñanza, teaching, or just enseñar is fine. ¿Te importa enseñar? ¿Te importa enseñar?
¿Sí or no?
Sí, bien. Sí, me importa mucho. Sí, me importa enseñar muchísimo. Bien. Excelente. Sí. And actually a good thing to know. This is sort of a corollary and it's an easy add-on idea. Sometimes somebody may respond to a question you ask just with this sentence. No me importa.
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 Ok, por ejemplo, ¿puedo sentarme aquí? Can I sit down here? You're right next to somebody. It's a crowded room. Maybe you feel a little, yeah. ¿Puedo sentarme aquí? Can I sit down? And somebody responds, no me importa. They're saying, doesn't matter to me. See?
Doesn't matter.
It can and it can also be, ¿dónde quiere? Vamos a un restaurante, por ejemplo, ¿sí? Vamos a cenar en un restaurante. ¿Dónde debemos cenar? Where should we eat? ¿Dónde debemos cenar? No me importa. A no me importa answer is doesn't matter to me.
Mm.
It's kind of this idea of I don't
I
care.
don't care.
Yeah, I don't care. It could be kind of a negative, I don't care. It could just be a don't have a real preference, right?
Passive aggressive. Passive aggressive.
Sí. Por ejemplo, oh, ¿te gusta mi blusa nueva? No me importa. Ay, no me importa. You like my new blouse? I don't care. Yeah, it doesn't matter to me, right? It could be kind of a negative, but you often hear just no me importa as just an answer in and of itself, right? The I don't care idea. Because that thing doesn't matter to them. Okay, if you want to say something bothers somebody, we need to plug in which verb, not importar, not interesar, but
Molestar.
molestar. And this is super, super common because there are many things that bother us. Because there are many things that bother
Oh,
us
yeah.
in life. Let's be
Oh, yeah.
honest. Yeah. So
Oh,
you're
yeah.
going to hear either a molestan or a molesta and something in front of it. Okay. Por ejemplo, me molestan las arañas. Spiders.
Mm.
Me molestan las arañas. But that has to be plural. Me molestan las arañas. If I want to talk about an activity I don't like doing, me molesta limpiar el baño. Me molesta limpiar el baño.
Sí.
I'm bothered. I'm annoyed cleaning the bathroom. ¿Sí? Bien. Otras ideas.
Yeah.
Marco, sí.
A mi esposa y yo nos ver tantos anuncios políticos en la tele.
Oh, sí. A
Oh,
la
yeah.
esposa sí le molesta escuchar, le molesta ver, sí, los anuncios. O le molestan, if it's just the ads themselves, le molestan los anuncios políticos por todas partes hasta noviembre, ¿verdad? Qué lío, what a pain, Qué pena, qué pena. Bueno, sí, hay más. More things that bug us.
Mm. I'll try one.
Bien.
Okay. Me molesta conducir largas distancias.
Ah, perfecto. Me molesta conducir, pip, pip, conducir largas distancias. ¿Sí? Ah, sí. A mí me molesta el olor, el olor de los incendios, fires,
Oh.
¿sí?
Mm.
Me molesta el olor, the smell, de los incendios en el desierto, por ejemplo, ¿sí? Bien. Me
Desierto.
molesta el calor del verano. Me molesta el calor. ¿Sí? Me molesta, pero me molestan las temperaturas altas del verano. Bien, me molestan, plural, me molestan las temperaturas altas del verano. Bueno, ¿qué más?
De otoño.
¿Hay algo más con molestar o no?
I'll try one.
Bien,
Me molesta cuando mi esposo bar,
cuando mi esposo
bar, whistle.
se va, goes off,
Oh, when he whistles.
se
Whistle.
va,
When
se
he
va
whistles.
would be like takes off for, I don't know, doing something. Or I'm maybe not hearing you exactly right.
Oh, it bothers me when my husband whistles.
Oh, cuando silba. Cuando silba. Silba es esta palabra, silbar. Ah, silba es,
Oh,
¿sí?
yeah,
Ah,
I put an at the end.
ah, ok. Me molesta cuando, me molesta cuando mi esposo silbe. Would be a little bit better, but that's like a minor thing. Silbar es whistle.
Right.
¿Sí?
Mhm.
Bien. Ok. Magnífico.
Silva.
¿Qué más? ¿Qué
Silva.
más? What else?
Whistle.
Me molesta cuando los hijos no laven los platos. Me molesta cuando los hijos no laven los platos. It bothers me when they
They
don't wash
wash the
dishes.
dishes.
Sí, bien.
Mhm.
Ah, ok. A ver. Bueno, ok. Let's take gustar to like and let's bump it up, intensify it with this verb,
Encantar.
encantar. And we're going to need either encanta or encantan. One of those two, encanta or encantan.
Mm.
Bien, por ejemplo, sí. Me encanta enseñar español, me encanta enseñar. Make it emphatic. A mí me encanta enseñar el español. Bien. ¿Y ustedes?
Marilyn, I have a question real
Sí,
quick.
sí.
Could you explain the difference between using encantar and like using amor or
Amar for love.
yeah.
Mm.
When you're talking
Qué
just about a person,
tienes
right?
buena pregunta. You've got a very good question. Rebecca's question is about this verb, amar, which means to love. Yeah. Encantar means to enchant, technically. And again, we don't use that a lot in English. Yeah. Only maybe in fairy tale stories. Yeah. Somebody enchants. Enchants, I don't know. Well, yeah, they cast a spell, that idea. And so it's not very common in English, but bien. Amar does mean to love. And one thing I am going to tell you, Rebecca, uh, more and more, I think this is kind of a cultural thing. Uh, you hear that verb amar seeping in more, um, especially I think with younger people, 30s and younger, to say that they love something. It kind of used to be that was always left in the category of you should use encantar. But you do get some people who will say, and they do this, they do the heart thing.
Mhm.
You'll see young people in videos and they'll say things like, they do the influencer thing and they travel to Bogota. Yeah, they go to Bogota. I'm a Bogota, and they put it in their followers for Instagram or I'm a Bogota. I love Bogota. What's the difference between amar and encantar? Not a whole lot, except that amar does get conjugated for yo, tú, él, ella, usted.
Oh.
So there's the difference. Instead of being one of these verbs that's like gustar, amar is can be used to say you love something. Yeah. Amar to talk about people really means romantic love. Yeah.
Oh,
Amo a mi esposo. I love my husband. Amo a mi novio. I love my boyfriend. Yeah. It can be used for people, but it can be used to talk about things. And younger people are kind of migrating more these days to sometimes using it to say that they love something or they love doing something. Uh, amo comer el sushi. I love eating sushi. And they
Mm.
film themselves at a sushi restaurant and post it up to, wherever they post their stuff. So, but the thing to know with amar, you do need to conjugate it for the human being. Encantar, you do not.
Mm.
Encantar is going to stay always encanta or encantan, right? But amar will go into all the forms to talk about the human being who does that action. Amo, yo amo, tú amas, él ama, ella ama, ellos aman, nosotros amamos. So the structure of using amar, Rebecca, is different. It's a
right.
traditional verb thing.
So do people usually, well, they typically use encantar with people that it's not like a romantic love? Like when you talk about like your family.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Like, okay, like a good example is remember the old McDonald's commercial and the jingle was I'm loving it?
Yeah.
Mhm.
The way that used to come on Latino channels like Univision or Telemundo was Me encanta, me encanta.
Right.
So the translation for the McDonald's commercials, I'm loving it, was just Me encanta. Sí, bien. Actually, another little footnote to that idea, Rebecca, that you brought up. If you say, I love it, the word it won't get translated, just me encanta. Yeah. Uh, this idea of it doesn't matter to me, the it doesn't get translated. No me importa. See?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, sometimes the it word doesn't get translated in these kind of structures. It's likely to work that way. Bien. Ok. Buenas preguntas. Good questions. Um, bien. Let's open next week with this because I think, oh, yeah, we're just about expired with our time and some people have to move on to do other things with their day. We're going to take this little last step next week and we'll start off with that little bit, that little piece so that you've got it. So we'll come in with ideas. And I want you to come in with things that express plural
Mhm.
ideas as well as singular ideas. That means using both of those forms of interesa, interesan, importa, importan. So come up with just some concept to talk about with that. ¿Sí? Bien? Vale. Ok, muy bien.
Vale.
Entonces, voy a enseñarles, I'm going to send you guys, voy a enseñarles un video nuevo para un video de escucha, sí, a listening video. You'll get a new one to listen to uh, with some prompts to talk about that video or plug in ideas that they talk about in the video. Okay, bien. Y eso es todo. That's it for today. Bien, ¿sí?
Bien.
Yes.
¿Todo
Okay.
bien?
Thinking.
Excelente. Entonces, sí, nos vemos más tarde. We'll see you guys later. Espero que tengan muy, muy buena semana. I hope you have a really good week.
Okay. Hasta luego.